supposedly, whatever. No quarantine. I mean, I don't know who's going where, but I'm not going anywhere for Memorial
I'm like,
weekend.
this is our quarantine Q&A sessions.
Yeah, oh, dang, I already hit it. We gotta
Huh?
keep it going. We gotta keep it going after this.
Quarantine Q&A sessions?
Yeah, quarantine Q&A.
Yeah.
All right, I'm on. I'm live. I believe I'm live. Let's see, where are we? Every week I have to ask that question. And there it is. Yes.
You ain't figured it out yet.
Yay, I figured it out. I got it. Good morning, Marquita.
Good morning.
Welcome. For everybody who doesn't know, this has been our, as you said, our Saturday morning, our quarantine Saturday morning Q&A, real estate questions and answers and mortgage question and answers with the Queen of Mortgages. Which this has actually become fun. I actually kind of look forward to our little session every Saturday morning.
Right. Well, since we're social distancing, then this is our chance to be together. But
this is it. This is it.
To stop playing. I know you see what you got going on over there.
I was gonna say, I know you see I have movement in the background, but you can tell we're distancing.
We're distancing. So what are they doing? So
great question. Thank you for asking. This is our official or last move weekend. As you know, we've posted, or Jeremiah and I have posted that Agent for the People has relocated our office to Alexandria. So our new footprint is in Alexandria. So I'm in our new Alexandria office. As you can see in the background, we've got boxes and I've got my movers back here. My guys are hanging up my boards, which I'm super excited. Those boards are like everything to me because it's track.
The whiteboards.
Yes, and we have a really nice glass one too, which is super nice and very fragile, which is why these guys are awesome. So let me just give a shout out. DMV Moving Help. So let me just pause for the moment and give them a shout out because these guys are amazing. They not only just moved our office and boards there, as you can see, they're hanging my boards, but they also move and haul unwanted items that you may have in your house. I know that Arthur Stewart, another business quasi partner of mine, he's had them do some moving for one of his clients over in Maryland. So these guys do work the DMV. So if anybody,
what's the name of it again, Jen? You got to drop it in the comments.
Okay, yeah, that's a great question. Okay, so we got DMV.
So I've figured out that I need some stuff moved from my house.
DMV Moving Help. Here we go. I'm gonna drop it in the comments.
Okay, DMV. Okay.
DMV Moving Help.
DMV Moving Help.
Yeah.
I could use some stuff moved from my house for sure. Now that we have time to stay home, I just realized we got way too much stuff.
Yeah, Lewis and Kevin. These are my guys, man. I'm gonna tell you, I really appreciate them.
Okay.
So anyway, but so they helped to relocate us, and also courtesy of you, Marquita, having the ability that for all of my Prince William people, please don't think I'm leaving you. Because I haven't. I still live in Prince William, and I still serve still have a very, very strong presence there, and I do not intend to leave. But you know, we've always served Alexandria, Arlington. You know, I always say the southeastern corridor of 95, and so all the way up to Arlington Falls Church, all of that. Jeremy, as you know, lives in Arlington. So he kind of handles that in. And of course, we're licensed in DC. So this I think this kind of puts us a little more central. So we can kind of, you know, with the hot lanes allows us to jump on if I need to get in either direction. And as I was starting to say earlier, you have opened your facility to us if we needed to meet or, you know, even work out of your office. You know, so we're really blessed. And I'm grateful for our, you know, partnership. And I'm also, you know, looking forward to new opportunities. I mean, you know, it is uncomfortable, but that's growth, right?
Right.
Kinda, in order to grow, sometimes you know you gotta
be uncomfortable, right? So there is no winning in the comfort zone. So you gotta stay out of your comfort zone. So kudos to you all for actually making that move. You know, big things happening even during a pandemic, during the COVID, during the quarantine. I see people are starting to, open things back up, and that'll be interesting to see how all of that flows. With that in mind, I mean, if you guys have any questions about real estate or mortgage, just jump on. We're just kind of today. And speaking of new, I know y'all see these new braids out here, right? I know y'all see this the new quarantine hairstyle. I'm the Raggedy Ann of real estate right now. Like,
would you stop?
This is my little new Raggedy Ann style, but this is how it's going. Like, I had to do some what is it called? A preventive maintenance hairstyle while we're in the COVID. And so this is my new look. Y'all go ahead and
yeah, everybody,
thank you. Whatever. This is what we're doing right now, though. I know y'all see it. Yep. I did it myself. It's like,
yeah.
Shout out to my friend Kiki for helping me out with this.
Yes.
Getting it done.
So everybody knows we have been social distancing, and we've been social distancing, but yet we may have kind of mingled with people that we also know that have been kind of quarantining and being safe. So for you and Kiki to get together, Kiki has been working from home.
It is what it is. It is what it is at this point.
Well, the reality is everything's starting to open up again, and we've got this phase 1 soft opening, which is excellent. But for most of you guys know, we've never stopped working. So that's the benefit. No. Blessed here in the DMV. We've never stopped. So this is like, for us, it's just business as usual. Not so much business as usual, but we're moving. And the exciting thing on the real estate horizon is, you guys have been hearing me talking about the low inventory. However, we're seeing some growth here. So, and all the pent up, the sellers and all the, the apprehension, the ones that have been kind of waiting and riding this out, we're starting to see them now to, really start to trickle in. So we've got these buyers over here, and they're like, please, sellers, please put the house on the market. We need a home. I'm telling you, we need a home. I was out showing houses yesterday. Just so you know, I mean, we're doing it both, and we need more inventory. And the exciting thing is, people are the sellers are, our spring market is just going to be delayed. It's starting to kind of, now I feel like we're moving into that as we approach June. We're moving into that March, April time frame where you start seeing sellers start to slowly, okay, we're going to put the house on the market. They've been quarantining. They've been home preparing the homes. They've been getting it ready, cleaning it spick and span. So, and the awesome thing is, for everyone who is, thanks for the love. Any questions, guys, don't forget to drop it in the box. Thank you. But the good thing is, with our listings and as we go into homes, everyone really, we are practicing, safety and wearing our gloves. Some homeowners, they have the Clorox wipes or the sanitizer. They have the shoe covers, so feel free to, take them off. So everyone's being mindful. We're putting the necessary steps and precautions in place for everyone that, is ready or contemplating putting the home on the market. Listen, we have the gloves, we have, the covers, and sellers are leaving lights on. We're opening doors. And of course, if you find, like yesterday, I found myself having to flip a light switch. I actually used the paper, my listing. But nonetheless, I got my Clorox wipe. So when we leave, we're mindful to wipe that, especially if it's a home that's occupied, but even if it isn't. So we are putting, the precautions in place so that everyone can be safe. So that's good. That's good. That's all right. Good.
See, there's a question on Facebook from Lorraine. She asked, how long processing time to determine if you qualify to purchase? Based on how quickly you're able to turn in documents. But typically, if you fill out the form and have income docs for review, it's a 24 to 48 hour process, because we have these things that are called desktop underwriters, which basically can spit out an approval electronically. It's just a matter of making sure you're entering the correct data. So it's about 24, 48 hours, a couple of days to figure out if you're actually pre-qualified to purchase and what your actual buying power is, which is super important. Actually, I was on my live the other day and I had shared a story about something that I had done, and I had just said about entering the data correctly. And I made a huge mistake. It was an honest mistake, but it made a huge mistake where I actually typoed one of the numbers, and it made a huge difference in whether they actually could qualify or not. So we were able to correct it, but it's all about making sure you have the correct information and putting the correct information into the underwriting system. So that's something that happened to me. Instead of using a payment for $200 for a student loan, I really needed to use a payment of $2,000. So imagine that.
Oh, that's a big
Yeah,
one.
I know. I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole to talk about student loans and that debt, but that was a big one. So she says, Lorraine asked, how do you handle self-employed buyers? You know what? That's an excellent question. I've always felt that self-employed buyers, in a way, get a short end of the stick in the housing world as the way that we actually qualify you. And part of that is we use the adjusted gross income for the last 2 years. That's the easiest baseline to say without being very complicated. So that's like if you have 100,000 in profits, and then you write off your marketing, your travel, whatever your adjusted number is after that, the adjusted gross income, we do that. So if it's 100,000 in profits after write-offs, your adjusted gross income is 50,000. We take a 2-year average of that, and that's what we determine is your income, which, like I said, I do think is somewhat unfair for the self-employed. And I do think during this time of the pandemic and with the tightening of credit scores, that, you know, self-employed is going to be scrutinized even harder. So it's the adjusted gross, it's not the amount. And I've had that happen several times where, you know, you talk to someone that's self-employed and they're like, hey, you know, I make 100,000. And then once you get to the actual Schedule C or the K1, depending on how you file it, that is what we're using. So the adjusted number. So sometimes it just does not fit. And we used to have some programs that were out the box to help with self-employed that were based on basically deposit cash flow. But right now, those things are at a pause for most people, or you require a huge down payment. So that's the challenge. So you do have some lenders still doing that, but they're starting off at 25% down, which, I mean, it's a hefty amount when you're talking about living in a high cost areas such as Northern Virginia. So that's a great question.
Yeah. So is it better to buy a condo or a townhouse for resale purposes?
That's your answer.
I was going to say it really just determines. It depends. I'm going to say obviously I'm going to say a townhouse, but again, if you're living in, you know, here we are in the city, whether it's DC or inside the Beltway or, you know, DC Alexander. I mean, Arlington, for example, there's so many condos. I mean, it just really depends on your lifestyle. What are your needs? But for resale, I'm going to always go with the townhouse simply because you don't have the high condo fee associated with it, and you have more space, and you're a little bit more in control of what you can do with that property because you're owning it in fee simple versus condo ownership. But let me know. I mean, if you sound like Lorraine, you are ready to start, in the direction of home ownership. Certainly hit me, private message me, or certainly feel free to call me. My number is 703-216-2139, and we can have a little more in-depth conversation about that. And thank you so much for asking us some questions. And certainly, that's what we're here for every week. We want to keep this going, even post-COVID. We're going to try to keep this going every Saturday and answer your questions. This is a question I have for you, Queen. She says she'll be interviewing realtors next week. Okay, very good, very good. Jennifer and Jeremiah, those are two right there for you. There's a lot of inside stuff going on here, guys.
I know. I see.
Are you available right now? In fact, you know where to reach me. I am in your office. Nonetheless.
Too funny.
Question, what about Rescore? I've been hearing a lot about Rescore this week. Some folks have, self-employed specifically, but, others that have been paying off, during this time, this opportunity. I know a couple may have used their, stimulus or whatever to pay off some bills, which, I'm glad about it. You're doing something positive with the money. But anyway, needing to rescore so that they can position themselves to buy. Yes.
Okay.
So tell me about that. Like, what is the process? I understand that one person said that they could do a rescore, have it done within a week after paying off some bills, but it's going to cost $200-$300. Can you elaborate on that?
Absolutely. I mean, Rapid Rescore is basically a service that the bureaus allow if you need to try to update a report quickly versus going it to organically report. And organically report basically means you pay the bill and you have to wait at least 30 days for it to update. But we seem to take some time that we pay something and then simultaneously this information has been updated with the credit bureaus. And that's how it works. Their reporting is whatever date they decide to report, because they might be doing batch reporting. If they're reporting all of the accounts at one time through a computer system, then you don't really know what date that actually is. So instead of waiting the 30 days to organically update, you would do a rescore for trying to see where the credit score is, because it does only take 3 to 5 business days. However, right now, rapid rescore is a hot topic because for lenders, we raised our credit score requirements, a lot of. So we had people that needed to do rapid rescores all over the country. This happened. So there's a backlog actually right now in their system where it's taking more than the 3 to 5 business days that it is. There is a fee per bureau per account to actually pay for the rescore. However, it is not a charge that should be passed on to the borrower, right? It's not a charge that we can pass on to the borrower. So I'm only doing a rescore for someone if they're actively in the market and looking to up their score because they have a contract or they found a house that and they're already under contract and now they need a higher score. So do the rapid rescore if you're actually in the home buying process. So it's not really a service that I know to be out for the public just to pay for updating.
Right. You're in the process
but, you know, because again, it is an investment. You have someone needs to update 3 accounts on 3 bureaus. I mean, do the math. It's $30 to $35 per account to actually that can add up. And then it's an investment and it's a cost of business, but that really is what a rapid rescore is. You're basically trying to update balances. And most of the time, we only really update balances on revolving accounts because that's what's going to drive the credit score. Revolving accounts are your credit card type of accounts. Okay, that's what a rapid rescore is. Otherwise, this is about waiting the 30 days for everything to update and see how it actually affects the score.
Okay. So, now with that, so there is no set number. Like, for example, someone may say, well, I paid off this card, is that going to give them like 100-point jump? Or, you know, is there any kind of...
There's not a set scale because everybody's credit profile is different.
Okay.
What I do to affect my credit score might not work the same for you because I have a different credit profile overall. So we do have some score simulators that we run sometime to say, what if I did this, what could I expect? And again, it's based on each person's profile, then you have to run it specifically for that person. So something that might get me 20 points might get you 40 points, but we do have a score simulator that we can type in. If I pay this amount on this card, what do we think will happen? And I will say that it is pretty accurate because it is tied into the Bureau's scoring algorithm. So that's something that you actually can do. And it's called a what if simulator.
Okay. So it has nothing to do with location, right? So just because I live in one zip code and you live in another, that has nothing to do with it.
Zip code for as credit score?
Or yeah.
You know, that's a real deep question, and it would almost insinuate that other zip codes get more points for being in a certain zip code, and part of that is true. However, I don't think it's to the level of somebody wouldn't qualify because they're in a certain zip code, because you already
that's illegal.
So many points just for having a name, and then you do have maybe so many points for a certain zip code, but that's really like you went deep there. That's almost like insider information where you're not really supposed to say, hey, you know, in Detroit might have a different score than the zip codes in Alexandria, right? So that's I don't know. Like I said, I don't know that the numbers are skewed enough, but I do think you get more points for having a certain zip code. I mean, we heard that actually. I got that from the credit person that came to your church and worked for the credit bureau. We won't name her name, and she explained that. Yes, like you already start off with a certain number of points, and if you're in one zip code, you're going to get more points for that being, you know, in part of your address than somebody else. But I still don't think it's to the point of being detrimental.
Correct.
Or, you know, it's a difference. So
yeah,
but that was a hardcore question right there. But I guess, you know, it kind of is what it is, right? That's why we on here. We're getting the inside stuff, real, relevant, and raw.
Excuse me 1 second. Anybody, any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Emma, for joining. Yes, sir.
Hey, Miss Emma, I went ahead and decided to rock the braids instead of, doing the other thing that we talked about, but we'll work on this for a couple of weeks. I needed something easy, just to be able to, man, I feel like I got so many things on my plate with working, parenting, schooling, all these different things. So I said, I'll do the Raggedy Ann look for a couple of weeks here.
So you need to do it on Monday.
So if anybody has any other questions, feel free to
join it. I'm sorry.
drop them in here. There's been, again, questions about actual, refinancing and whether someone should do it. And I just shared, again, 3 reasons why somebody would refinance would be to lower the actual payment, lower the actual term. So maybe 25 years to 15 or 30 years to 15. And then to possibly take cash out to use to pay off other debts or possibly improve the property, whatever it is. I mean, equity is such a beautiful thing, but it's only beautiful to me if you can actually put it to work in an effective way, or just having it in the house. And sometimes is not always the best thing, but part of your equity for a lot of us, that's part of our nest egg to, move forward. Those were 3 reasons to actually look into refinancing the actual home.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Do you see any more questions in here? Because
I do not.
This week, and I am so grateful for everyone, and for Lorraine and Miss Emma and everyone else for joining us this morning and dropping your questions. Again, we're here every weekend, every Saturday between 11:30ish, a little more on either side, but we definitely will be live every week, every Saturday. I mean, this is helping us get the information out, and something that my coach always say, coming from a confrontation posture, meaning that we really do care about the direction of our markets and this economy, and of course being there for every one of you, whether you're our clients or not. We would love to be a resource for you, to you, and we're just here, just kind of, as you can see, very casual, but just keeping it real and answering your questions. And, if you have anything else that you would like for us to address next week, send us a message or just private message us. If you need an answer now, we're here. I've tagged Marquita in this, and I'm, of course, here. You can reach me at 703-216-2139, or go to our website, www.agentforthepeople.com. And Marquita, why don't you share how folks can reach you?
Always you can, private message me right here on Facebook, or you can go to my website, queenofmortgages.com. You also can find me on Facebook at Queen of Mortgages. That is our business page. And there's a form that you can fill out to have someone reach back out. And then of course you can always call or text at 703-929-2274. All right, so that's how you can get in touch. We'll see y'all next week. Tina asks, hey cousin. So Tina asks, what about one loan type over the other? I think that's a great question, but it depends on scenario. Why you would choose one loan type over the other. I will say I'm not discriminating, but my favorite loan type is a VA loan. Thank you for your service, but it's the best financing on the market. Yeah. However, we still have people actually discriminating against veterans in the housing process because they see that it's a loan with no money down. Well, if someone has actually signed up to risk their life, they should be able to buy a house with no money down. It's already been, right? And that doesn't mean that another person's credit profile is better because they're not putting any money down, but we'll have this thought process that, they're going conventional, they're putting 20% down, so we're gonna go with this person because they have skin in the game. No, a veteran has the ultimate skin in the game already. So I feel like loan type really depends on your scenario and what you're able to do, which one loan over the other. But like I said, we still have practices where people actually, I had one case where they actually, they took the file, they took the loan, but it was like they wanted the veteran to have a down payment, like that was going to make them feel better. And it's like, that just to me is a misinformation, right? Just misunderstanding. to not really know that, honestly, in some cases, a veteran loan is easier to get done with a conventional loan, especially if they don't have the 20% down. I mean, you got, flexible underwriting guidelines. You got, like I said, the no money down feature, which is a big problem for some people, or a process. They can't really come up with a down payment because we live in a high cost area.
Right.
Actually has lower rates than conventional loans in some cases, because that's tiered on risk. And then you also have the no mortgage insurance, right? So on a conventional loan, the borrower has to be approved for the loan and the mortgage insurance if they're not putting 20% down. So just so many reasons to not discriminate against one loan type over the other. But I think what loan you use really depends on your specific scenario and what you're able to do, right? So great question. Thanks for asking.
Yep, that was a great question, and thank you. And then just in that same vein, just because they are VA borrower with no money down, Marquita, they do still have expenses. So a lot of times I get, depending on what side you're on, as a realtor who you're representing, they're thinking, well, if they're putting no money down, the seller's thought, then why am I contributing towards closing costs? Because they still have fees and expenses. And again, why not, right?
Right. I mean, every loan has closing costs. If you're using financing to buy, you're going to have closing costs. A matter of who pays them deals with the negotiation that you have going on with your realtor and the other party, but every loan has closing costs. So it's not a reason to be discriminatory based on that. If it's a good offer, then like I said, you vet the lender and
absolutely.
But don't discriminate just because you see a loan with no money down.
That's a great topic in and of itself right there, vetting the lender. And you know what, that's something that we will chat about next week. They'll bring that. We won't, dive in. As you can see, I've got my movers ready in the back, but yeah, that's very important. That's definitely going to be on our topic next week, as well as again, any other questions you guys may have. Thank you all for joining us, for staying with us for this 30 minutes. And Marquita, as always, thank you so much for your expertise and being available, and again, your partnership. And Lorraine, appreciate you, girl. All right, we'll see you guys
truly
next
my
week.
pleasure. We'll see y'all on the book next Saturday. Have a great day.
All righty. Peace.
All right, peace.